this set up. All right. Well, there wasn't a lot going on. Figured I'd throw it live on and chat with a few of you guys. Maybe. The way things are going, nobody might stop by and want to listen to more crap piling up. Maybe should have done it vertical. But I was just out having some coffee on the porch. Figured I would let y'all join in. There's somebody. Maybe it's working. Uh-oh, they done seen a squirrel. What's going on, Joe? How's that audio, man? Is that waterfall overtaken? Can you hear me? I enjoyed your little rant earlier. Right on. What a crazy fucking time, dude. Nah, I can't think about that shit, man. That's just crazy. I don't know if it was you or somebody else that was telling me about the story about the guy and the deer in Arkansas. Screwed, man. People in general have just gone off of the shit. We ain't even off of the rails anymore, dude. It's on the crazy train, Twilight Zone. Hey, Jennifer, what's going on? Oh, me either. But I was just sitting out here on the porch, so I figured I'd bring y'all along. Well, that's just the thing, Joe. The absurdity and craziness and upside down and whatever the hell people want to call it today has become the norm. And the normal people seem crazy. Society in general amazes me, people. Well, that sucks, Jennifer. But it happens to all of us. Yeah, I'm lucky, Joe. I get to withdraw to my farm down there, man, and not deal with people. I don't know how you do it, brother. I think the ability for me to go out in the middle of the forest and be alone is about the only thing keeping my sanity going and not committing multiple felonies. Oh, crazy, crazy world, man. They told us the time would come, you know. You can only believe about, I don't even know how much now, the way shit's going. An eighth of what you see and basically nothing of what you can hear. What's going on, Sam? What you up to, man? How you getting along down there? Yeah, you can see a few of mine running around here, Jennifer. They're aging too. Yeah, Joe, probably most of the people in this chat would feel the same way. A few of them could probably do without the big knockers, but it's just people in general, man. Society, it's crazy. Is it part of the plan? Was it part of the plan? We'll never know all that shit. We'll never know 1% of what's really happened and is happening and is gonna happen. We're the peasant general public. We don't need to know. And even if you do know, ain't shit nobody gonna do nothing about it. Yeah, yeah, Jennifer, that's what you said before. You were moving away down there, and look where you moved into. It's harder to get away from people than it's hard, unless you can own a big piece of property to keep everybody away. It's damn near impossible. A guy was telling me yesterday some people were coming in the RV park down there fishing. I can't understand what goes on in somebody's brain to where they're just going to pull on to somebody's private property and start fishing. I know up there in Canada things may be different with private property, but down here in the South it ain't. I mean, it used to be pretty common knowledge that you don't trespass on people's property. Oh, there's going to be stupid. I've said it all along, man. It only gets worse and worse and worse. Just when you think you couldn't hit an all-time new low or something else crazy couldn't happen, boom, bam. I mean, hell, if you just take the government out of the equation, shit is stupid. Hey, Sheriff. Yeah, it's my city spot. I try to enjoy. Uh-oh. Yes, it is, Sam. Yeah, no, that's what you said, Jennifer. Unfortunately, well, I don't know how it is in Canada, but it ain't the great best-selling market in the world around. Unless you're selling to some big corporation trying to buy it out. Yeah, Joe, we all need that little space. Come to mention it, I got an acquaintance that's fixing to sell 5 acres of land up here by me. Me and Ann were talking about purchasing that last night. It's not a bad price. It's a beautiful little piece of property. It's actually one of the 5 acre tracts. I don't know how many of y'all remember or not, but we used to own a 30-acre piece that we cut up into 5 acre tracts and sold off. And one of those tracts is possibly coming back up for sale. It was the one I wanted to keep. for us the whole time, but it was a friend of mine that wanted it, so I sold it to him. Well, Jennifer, down here, if you make it past the fencing and the signs, we have other means to take care of those trespassers. That's Joe. He can tell you about that. Yeah, well, they can be shot and killed here. Not here. That should tell you where you need to be moving to, Jennifer. You'll have the right to protect yourself. I don't really need to be there. That's one reason I don't travel to Europe a lot with my wife. I remove myself from those situations. I don't know what we would do with that other 5 acres. I mean, probably build a little house or something on it, turn it into another nice place. Yeah, Sam, Texas ain't bad. I mean, everybody's got their, you know, discretions on each state and this and that and blah, 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 blah. A few people remember the fact that we are the only state that joined this shit show by treaty. And we did retain a few of our rights. That's one reason there's not a lot of federally owned property in the state of Texas. And there is no BLM. But Texas, that's not the reason I chose Texas, man, back 20 years ago when I started becoming more prepared and educated and looking to the future of self-sustainment, man. I looked all over the U.S. Fortunately, I had a job to where I could travel all over the U.S. and I got to see a lot of the U.S. And there are some beautiful places that I would love to live. But, beauty and self-preservation don't always go hand in hand. Each area of the country, no matter where you are, has pros and cons. I was looking for an area where the growing season is very long. An area that don't go into drought too much. What's going on, Mr. Smith? Well, that area where inclement weather is not something that you're fighting 6 months out of the year. You working this morning, Smith? What are you barking at, squirrel? As always. Yeah, well, that's kind of the point, Sam. It's easier to fight the heat than it is to fight the cold. I know you like the cold and stuff, but man, survival and making it in the cold it's just harder to do. Plus, when it's cold, you don't have that ability to grow food. It's harder to take care of your animals. So the cold just makes everything harder. Just like Jennifer just said, Canada's a long way up there, but there are still places in the U.S. right now that are freezing where they can't even put their gardens in. I mean, you can see the banana trees over there. I mean, they're 6, 7 foot tall already, and got lots of vegetables growing here in the yard. And our garden at the farm is is well up and on its way. Yeah. I don't mind a little cold, trust me. I mean, we could use a couple of good weeks down here because it kills off the bugs. If we don't get those couple of good weeks of cold weather, is crazy. 130 acres is a big piece of property, Jennifer. And with all that property comes taxes. You ain't never gonna see the far side of 100 acres. What's going on, Eric? How you doing, buddy? I ain't seen you in a while. But I ain't been on and ain't hanging out in too many chats. JW, what's going on, Big Daddy? I really ain't seen you in a while. Riverway. Yeah, you two must have pushed it out or something. All y'all guys coming in. Are y'all ready for today? Today's the day, right? Yeah, that's generally how it goes, Jennifer. The land ain't too bad, but you build anything on it, they're gonna get you for that structure. Man, I thought about you the other day, Sam. I had a couple of bicycles I had to get rid of. They were in pretty bad shape, or I'd have probably brought them to you. But yeah, Eric, I heard about the little bit about the situation. I don't know fully what's going on. What's going on, Tony? How you doing, man? Been all right? Not working too hard, are you? There's a lot of people facing that, Eric. I've been wondering what you've been doing. It's crazy times all around, guys. I don't believe nothing anymore. I don't trust nothing anymore. I mean, other than my travels from Houston to the farm, I ain't getting out of pocket anymore. Lead and brass are what I'm stacking. Get another vehicle. Yeah, Sam, it's that seems to be what's going around. All right, Tony. I didn't get off that easy this year. I've got the garden in. I don't know how well it's gonna do. A lot of my zucchinis ain't looking too good already. Yeah, Riverway. That's a nice way to grow up, but most people just don't realize the masses didn't have that opportunity. I don't know. The more I deal with people and see people and watch what's going on, it seems to me they can't tell their asses from their forehead. I don't blame them. I don't guess. Well, you got any offers, any lookers, any tire kickers? What's going on with it? Everybody always likes to talk about that price and market and this and that. Oh my goodness, silver's up $100 and gold's 5,000 and this and that. You got to have a buyer for it. You know, I can ask $1 million for this place, but is anybody going to give it to me? Plenty of people out there want a house and want property, but at 10, 15% interest, that's just the thing. Since my buddies bought that 5 acres, I mean, the market around here has actually dropped. Still plenty of people, you know, wanting it. Yeah, who's got the almighty dollar? Want, need. Fortunate and lucky is the way. I'm the same way, man. I'm blessed to be sitting on 25 acres. I'm surrounded by about 500 where there ain't nobody around me, pretty much. I mean, I got a couple of neighbors, but they're good people. I pretty much know everybody on my road. I give them eggs all the time. Oh yeah, you definitely have to get away from that area you're in down there, Sam. That's the hub, man. All right. Well, you need to get your ass up there and get that sucker ready, Jennifer. Tick tock, tick tock. I know you kind of wanted to live in the deserty area, Sam. There ought to be some fairly cheap land out in West Texas. What's going on, Bradley? How's your evening over there? Since you're like 12 hours ahead of us, man, have they attacked Iran yet? Well, you're like 14 hours ahead of us. It's Tuesday at 8 o'clock, man. Tell us the future. What's going on? Yeah, you doing all right, man? Things down under down there? Mm, yeah, mortgage and bills on 2 houses. Woo-wee. We pretty lucky. We ain't got too much mortgaged out. We bought this place here back in the day when interest rates were good. So, well, if you can get a good interest rate, there ain't nothing wrong with using other people's money. Right? Got it in cash. That's always nice. Yeah, an oasis would be nice. There ought to be some fairly affordable land out in West Texas, man. I've heard some out there, you know, going for like 1,000 an acre. Yeah, I think around here it's about 40 where I'm at, population density per square mile. It do make a difference in your life, man. You ain't got to deal with all that stuff. Crazy. I hate coming to the city. And when I do, this is pretty much where I am. I hang out on the back porch. It won't be too much longer, and the pool will be warm enough to get in because it's cold right now. And the cooler weather we've been having the last few weeks ain't helping to warm it up. Well, it ain't bad. You can afford to hold that a little while then. The problem with holding any of that stuff is, what's going to be happening in 5 years, 10 years. Oh, you got your own mile. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I got neighbors closer than a mile, but like I said, I know them all. All right, I hear you, Bradley. At least you got some work, man. That's a good thing. It's only getting harder and harder, man. All this AI and robotics, it's progressing right along. More and more people being laid off. What's going on, Art? Oh, it was just a little time to kill. All right. Stay as long as you can, anyway. I think we're in for some big changes over the next few years. Long term, guys. Y'all have heard me preach it the whole time I've been on here. It's long term. Even though some of the things we're seeing are pretty big and moving pretty quick right now. And the 480 million different opinions and views and things on YouTube. Take it easy, Sam. Give me a ring, man. Trying to steer clear of the doom and gloom this morning, and if all possible, just have a cup of coffee. That's what you keep saying, Sam. Oh, yeah, Art. What are we going to blame all of those higher prices on? Is it the war? Is it oil? Is it inflation? The supply chain? I don't know who I was listening to earlier, but not that I agree with all the war effort and everything going on, but as we Americans pay and go out and take over all these countries, shouldn't our cost of living and quality of life go up here? What's the deal? We go out and spend all of these trillions of dollars conquering these other damn countries. And what's going on, Canada? As far as I know, the drugs haven't stopped in coming up. What's going on, Deb? I mean, went down and took out Maduro and Venezuela. Wasn't that supposed to stop all the drugs? Them are some big jobs, Bradley. Oil. I think they've intended on driving the prices up the whole time anyway. Taxes too. I've said it the whole time. I don't think it's going to be a matter of you being able to get the product. It's going to be a matter of you being able to afford the product. Gas is steadily rising. I said it a couple of years ago, $10 a gallon. There you go, Art. All of us, everything still going on today is still in line with Agenda 2030, New World Order, the reset, everything. Oh yeah, food. That's one of the big ones. Energy, food, your whole cost of living in general. No, nothing, and be happy. Everybody forgets, man. It's crazy the attention span that they've gotten. They've gotten us down to. Which I don't blame anybody for it. The day to day life shit, it gets you down. You can't keep up with it all. That's why I kind of tried to avoid all the goings on. Hell, I was doing good. I've been off of the news feeds for a couple of weeks, and then I click on yesterday, and holy shit, I've been having to watch it the last few days. Yeah, Deb, man, that's what we got here. That's the big question. Is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it? My take and opinion on it is they haven't stopped doing it. I mean, like I said, I've been kind of staying off of the news a little bit, but with all the rocket launch and everything going on in the last few days, and, I got one of my little girls that's pretty into space. So she's been watching the rocket launch and all that kind of stuff, and you know, I don't want to ruin their inside of the world so much so early. I have a hard time believing any of that NASA crap. He might. I mean, like I said, shit, we've been blowing stuff up all the whole time, though, Deb. It ain't really slowed down. I saw this morning. It looked like they were taking out part of that island over there where it is, Car or whatever the hell. But they were only hitting bunkers and weapons and that kind of stuff. They weren't hitting any of the infrastructure. And I don't know how anybody can believe anything that the government is saying about the war. In my mind, it's 100% propaganda. Well, let's say 95 because they are having to tell us a few things. Cuba, yeah, hell, Ark, I've already heard talk of North Korea. I think JW was talking last night about how Iran is still getting stuff from North Korea and China and Russia. Well, if you're believing Trump that we control the airspace and we took care of their air force and this and that, I heard yesterday there were like 17 huge cargo planes that flew in from China. Now, how many days ago it was or how old the story is, I don't know. But I mean, obviously those planes are still delivering things to China, which from China. It stands to reason. I mean, I don't know that Trump's got the big enough balls to shoot down a Chinese or a Russian cargo plane over Iran. We'll never know the real truth. Whatever happened to those Russian oil tankers that were coming into the Caribbean? They were supposed to go to Cuba or Venezuela. I mean, that's the last I heard of those a couple of weeks ago. The whole bullshit story about rescuing the pilot and going in and this and that. I tend not to believe any of that. Their numbers just ain't adding up. And the government can lie to our faces until, way on into this thing before they disclose any real numbers. Now, Bradley, we don't get no wind out there, man. I looked into that before I bought my solar system. It takes quite a bit of wind to make those turbines worth it. Now, technology might have changed in the last 10 years since I bought my solar system, but we don't get much wind. I'd say about 90% of the shit I hear, which I don't go search out, a lot of it is just sent to me daily. Uh, I would say it's propaganda, and I tend not to believe. I mean, the numbers already came out. They spent $100 billion trying to rescue this guy, the pilot or the co-pilot or the navigator, whoever he was. They flew 20-something aircraft in over Iran down there and landed a couple of C-130s on the desert out there, blah, blah, blah. They got stuck in the sand and they had to come in and blow them up. Flying 3 more C-130s in to rescue all of the people on the original first 2 planes and the pilot and all the equipment, blah, 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 blah. That sounds like a master class and a bunch of CIA bullshit to me. The truth of the matter is they probably flew those 2 C-130s in over there full of weapons and unloaded them. And then blew the fuckers up because they couldn't get them back off the ground. I mean, the stories are already coming out about them arming the Kurds and the Kurds telling them to piss off after they got all of the weapons. And our government and CIA has sown some bad, deep seeds that we are all going to reap. It is crazy. And all of this going on, I would not put past them one step that it's all distraction. Oh yeah, Eric, I seen all that going digital, man. I don't shop at Walmart. I will drive 50 miles out of the way so that I don't have to go to Walmart. Oh yeah, it's all going to that digital, man. It's going to come down to they're going to know who you are, how much money you make, and that price will change, minute by minute. They'll be able to charge you whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. Just time of day or who you are. I got to watching a lot of AI videos last week, man, and it's go down that AI rabbit hole for a little while. And when I say AI, I'm talking about the intelligence and the robotics because they go hand in hand. And I know that 90% of the mass population do not realize the capability of AI. So the problem with that, Reed, is a lot of people don't have options. For the last 25 years, the Walmarts have been putting out the mom and pops. All them mom and pop small shops, out of business. It's tough. What's going on, man? What you working on today, I Spider? Stuck at work. Me too. You bet your ass. I guarantee you, with everything going on, them elitists are making money. The world is changing on tweets now. I guess that's what you call them. I don't guess it's Twitter anymore, X, whatever, Instagram, whatever the hell president's praising Allah on. There are trillions of dollars made and lost on some of them tweets going on, which is insane to me. But I'm not a social media guy. I'm an old fart. Big old dragonfly out there. Bradley. I mean, if you got a lot of wind, they might be worth it. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how the technology's progressed in a long time, but I mean, they use them on a lot of boats. You see them on boats, but there's always generally some wind going on. And I have been really happy with my solar system. I mean, I have to admit, it's not a cheap investment to make, but over the last few years, with the price of energy and we see the rising cost of energy and how much energy I use on my farm, it was a good investment. We've had it about 10 years now, and it's probably paid back about 50% of what it cost us to install that system, which is about right because they say, it should pay itself back in 20 years. Which, unfortunately, with the technology that we have, they really only last about 20 years, or technology changes so fast that in, 10 years you're having to update products and change products, blah, blah, blah. But I've been really happy with that solar system, man. We put a lot of it in when technology was older, and I know that a lot of it has changed now, but with the equipment that we bought and what we spent at the time, well worth it. They are, Jennifer, and got them on a schedule, so they're trying to stick to it. I think I heard them go on break a while ago. Y'all might have been in here when I was doing the koi pond last time. Let me show you what the koi pond looks like. don't know if the glare is gonna let you see it or not, but does that look any clearer? I don't know if you can see the coins down there. Throw some food and see if it'll come down here. Yeah, cleaning it out sure helped, Bradley. I need to do it a couple of times a year, but I can't force myself to do it. Oh, there's a couple of them down there in the weeds. What's going on, man? You don't stay out in the sun too much, but oh, trust me, Ark, I got plenty of frogs out here, man. I thought that food in there. I thought they might come down here. I went and fed them this morning. I think usually the lily pad's open by now too. Canoe, what's going on, man? Oh, here comes one meandering down here, so the smell of that food. Oh man, Bradley, those things are perfect, man. I was talking to my buddy the other day. He wants to go over and catch some and have a little fish fry, so I might be making a catch and cook here before too long. Coffee break. There's one of the little ones down there. I don't know if you can see him or not. And I can't believe the big ones ain't down here. They usually come right when they see me. There's a little one. The smell of that food usually gets them over here. Yeah, they hadn't gotten too bad yet this year. But here in the next couple of months, they'll be we in the city, but you see houses, 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 but it all flocks to these little ponds. They're gonna come down here. They're hiding down there in the middle. They had a hawk or something flew over a while ago. Yeah, them bass would eat my coys. Let's see the other one over here. I know you won't be able to see them in there, but there's a million little tadpoles. There's one of the little coys in that one. Yeah, that's full of tadpoles. The frogs are hanging out over here, so we'll have a ton of frogs in a couple of months. Yeah, they ain't coming down here, so catch them over there. I'll show them to you. What y'all up to? Most of you got your gardens in and going? Got y'all tilted. I hatched my first load of chicks the other day out of about 25 eggs. I got nearly I guess 18 or 20 new little chicks. I got to replenish the flock this year. I still got a few onions to put in, and I think my taters are ready to put in. Oh no, Jennifer, Richard don't get outside. No, Bradley, I did not. Still full of weeds. Come on, Jason. Behind, man. I don't know, Bradley, with diesel at, like $10 a gallon at the marina. I don't know if I want to be filling up a 2,000-gallon tank on a freaking boat right now. Frost date is the 15th. Well, as crazy as the weather's been, maybe you'll get it in by May or May 15th, May 14th. Well, it got down in the 40s here the last couple of days at night, which I won't complain about because, there a week ago it was up in the 90s. It's been dry as hell around here. Well, Tony, thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, load up on all that feed while you can. Price is only going up. Yeah, for Christmas, all right? $12 a gallon. Holy crap. It was $5.75 the other day here. Are they rationing it over there yet, Bradley? Well, I guess $12 a gallon. That's a freaking ration right there. You ain't doing no unnecessary joyriding for sure. Damn, man, that would put a crimp on the cost of living. Is that for regular, Jason? Our premium is well over $4. I think when I posted the other day, it was like 450, 460. I went and filled up a few diesel cans and gas cans that I had. Well, it's freaking like 364. That's regular, Smith. I always try and get premium, man, because if I'm keeping that shit, it does last longer. I got gas for the mower, and it's like freaking $35, $40 to fill up the lawnmower. Yeah, it's well over five here, Jason. Right? Yeah, I tried to fill a few gas cans around the farm. I always get that higher octane. It burns so much better. But take what you can get, I guess. The mass majority of people was having a hard time before that rise. So right now, all this inflation, man, is going to make everything tougher and harder. $8 a gallon. Right? Well, I'm spending probably about $300 a week in fuel. Yeah, right. In the cities. I feel sorry for the farmers, man. I mean, you do get a little discount buying ag fuel. I got a couple of tanks at the farm that I get ag fuel in, and it's a little bit cheaper. But all of that stuff is long term, man. They're bitching about the fertilizer, the fuel, the groceries, and freaking Yemen over there, they're talking about shutting down that other strait. So who knows, man? Again, everything going on is, it's pointing toward that control new world order crap, man. I hate to beat on the old drum, but it is what it is. That's just the thing. Everybody talks all this shit. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. They're doing this. They're doing that. Blah 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 blah. We live in reality, folks. I want a lot of damn things, but there you go, Deb. 15-minute cities. You're keeping up with the news, Deb. What are all the hot topics? I ain't scared to say the magical words on here. YouTube has gotten so insane lately too. Hell, Ann got a strike the other day. Hey, thanks, Art. And I know what your busy day is. Where you going fishing today? For feeding a damn pig, YouTube is going to strike you. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, that mining, Bradley. Smith, I don't know, man. I made a little video for her feeding the pig out there, and YouTube found it cruel and unusual punishment, I guess. Or some freaking Karen turned her in. Yeah, that's just the thing, Deb. Hell, it was impossible to keep up with it all. Fencing and shit. Yeah, I tell you, the easiest way to pin up them damn goats, man, is to pin up your billy goat. If you pin that billy goat up, them nannies ain't worried about getting out at all. But pinning that billy goat up is a hell of a chore. You want to find a hole in the fence, turn a goat out in it. And I think Trumpy's way past nuts balls there, Deb. The problem is that, you know, Iran's got pretty near, 90 to 100 million people. And everything that's happened over there has just turned that pretty much that whole country against the United States. So we've just made, a good 50 or 60 million new enemies. Yeah, Jennifer. It ain't like they're gonna push it down anyway. Hell, I posted a picture of the gas prices down here the other day. Go look at it on my community post. Right there, blatant in black and white. It says it's got like 30 comments on it, and only 3 show up. So where are them other 27 comments? One of the comments is even notating how many comments there are that ain't showing up. Oh yeah, the whole damn country over there hates us, Illinois. That's what's crazy. I talked to some people, online that live overseas. And the propaganda that they're fed over there is totally different than the propaganda that we're fed here. but they want to make it sound like, as far as they know, overseas in the UK and stuff, pretty much America is rooting behind the government. We agree with everything that our government does. Just like, we're fed the propaganda here that, those citizens over there in the UK and Australia and all that, these places over there, they're just going along with what their government is doing. Exactly, Jason. History is written by the winner. And the propaganda and lies that your government can tell you are 100% legal. They can straight lie to your face. Has anybody not seen the lie? Yeah, the numbers on YouTube are all of the numbers. Your view count, your subscriber count, all of it. I mean, it's a rigged platform. There's a bunch of people on here that, literally, even me, I can't believe they still leave me on here for all the shit talking I do. And then they want to strike somebody like my wife for a pig video. Nah, you can't believe any of it. I mean, there's some older guys that I watch on YouTube that have been around a long time, and they got 5, 6, 700,000 subscribers, and they do a live and they can't get 1,000 people to come in on that live. You got other people that, basically talking nonsense that grows, 100,000 subscribers a month. Truth is the first casualty in war, and whether y'all know it or anybody else knows it or not, we've been at war a long time. As long as everybody in this chat room has been alive. Oh yeah, Bradley. China just sitting back laughing through this whole thing. Fake it till you make it. There you go, Jason. You own the money, man. Don't worry, Riverway. You will. It's coming. Trust me, man. Go down that AI rabbit hole. There's one guy I watch, man. I forget what the hell his channel's called. It may just be AI, I think. And this guy's, he seems like a pretty normal dude, but he tests that AI crap, man. And I don't use it. I haven't used it. I know it's in every system that I use, and it affects my life every day, and it's probably in control of more of my life than I'd like to realize. But as far as on a computer or on my phone, I don't use that AI bullshit. And I know you don't have to use it for it to learn you and what you do and where you go and what you say and who you communicate with and all of that. I mean, it goes so much deeper than what so many people realize. And, we are really into that realm of how much of AI is already in control that they haven't told us about or that we don't know about. Has it already become sentient? Is it making these decisions? I mean, some of these decisions that are being made and the way the world is acting and reacting, they're not logical decisions. Well, that old boy's got that airplane wound out. footnotes. Oh yeah, Jennifer, we've been going through that a long time down here. Again, was that part of the whole plan? All of this immigration? Yeah. Well, what trips me out about all that, Jason, is these people. You have all these people that the originators of AI and the first people that worked on it, and blah blah blah. All of these guys said, what the hell's going on, and they bailed ship. I mean, these dudes like quit working and went and bought, a farm and started building bunkers and stuff. So you had all these new other people that came in, running AI and however far you want to go down that hole of who's doing it, who's in control, blah, blah, blah. But they have no concern for, basically human safety. And they're taking AI and using it in ways to where it subverts its own safety features. It's not supposed to tell you certain things or give you ideas on certain things or show you how to build certain things, but you can subvert those safety features right off the bat. Well, don't worry, Jennifer. There's plenty of fraud that's going to take care of those people. Just look into the Minnesota deal. I mean, it's only fake money at this point. Hey, Leonard. What is really money at this point to the government? I mean, they're creating money out of thin air and loaning it to themselves and charging it to us. I think that's how they're getting away with spending all of this money. I mean, the masses see the money. That's what matters to most people is money. And when I say matters to most people, I'm not talking about emotionally so much as physically. You got to have it to do anything. You want to rent a house, you want to buy property, you want to have fuel, you want to have electricity. I mean, it takes money to do all those things. These people create the money. It's a tool that they use against us. It's only a matter of time before the masses are begging for the New World Order. Please give me universal basic income. Please give me food. Please give me housing. The corporations and the elitists are the only thing keeping this economy afloat. I mean, when companies like BlackRock are going in and buying up 300 or 400 homes at a time, the average person's investment means nothing. Yeah, Bradley. Well, unfortunately, they've already got us, pretty much eating that poison in bugs. Let's say we are all entrained into the system, whether we want to be or not. And they've taken those small bites over time. Over the last 100 years, they have backed us into this corner where we all have to use their system. Yeah, you can attempt to be more self reliant. And the more that you can do, the better. But I don't know anybody on YouTube that's 100% self reliant. We are using their medical system, we are using their payment system, we are using their employment system. We use their food system. We use their power system. We use their monetary financial system. Other than putting a backpack on your back and stepping off into the forest and leaving society behind, you are part of that system. You're going to eat their food. You're going to use their money. You're going to buy their fuel. You're going to use their medication. The masses are going to. The life of convenience. What is it? A move up in technology, a change of lifestyle. All of y'all that own a farm out there knows that farming isn't very profitable. Your satisfaction of owning a farmstead and producing your own food and meat and growing your own vegetables and maintaining your land is the profit. And that don't pay a lot. Not enough for you to buy a piece of land and maintain vehicles and, you know, pay your taxes and live, you know, a quote unquote normal life. It can't be done. You can't stay home all day and take care of your homestead, okay? Which is a full time job. If you're going to grow a garden and have animals and have a producing farm, it's a full time job. More than a full time job. You're going to spend a lot more than 8 hours a day working on your farm, which means you can't go work in the system to make that money that you need. All right. We all want to, Bradley, and we all, I think, try to some degree. Some more successful than others. Some have it easier than others. I mean, when you're a single guy or single girl with no family and no kids or nothing, yeah, it's a lot easier for you to go off grid per se. But with family and kids and education and, you know, I ain't saying it's impossible, but it's damn sure more difficult. Again, me and Ann have been very fortunate. She still works, and I'm able to spend a lot of time out building a homestead. I mean, it's taken 10 years to get there, but, you know, it's pretty close to being self-sustaining. About as close as you can get, I think, without spending millions and millions of dollars. Which in time and effort and material, we have invested a lot in that farm out there. I've seen all of this coming a long time ago. Back when we owned the Vacation River House down there. Some of y'all older subscribers may remember that. Some of the first videos I put out. You know, and I could see the economy turning to where, you know, people can't afford that $700 a night vacation home rental. I can see those hard times coming where people aren't going to be spending money on vacations. So luckily we got out just in time and made, you know, a pretty decent profit on that place down there. I could see the mass exodus of people leaving the cities and going to the country and wanting a little piece of land. I put that whole thing online about buying that 30-acre piece of property and building the road and cutting the trees and the utilities and investing in that property. And Showed it all on YouTube. Each property being bought, and we sold all of that property over there. It's exactly what I was talking about earlier. That guy wants to sell, may want to sell 5 acres. One of the original plots of that 30-acre tract over there. I was showing that whole process. And the building of the RV park. I could see, people, it's going to be hard times. People are going to be losing houses. They're going to be looking to downsize. They're going to be looking to cut those expenses, live it. Why not build an RV park? A lot of people are going to be living in RVs and campers, downsizing. Make it a little different than every other RV park. Make it a little bit more private. Give everybody some room. They're not stacked on each other like cockroaches. I put all that on YouTube. From the building of the park to probably some of the last videos I put up on there. I mean, which I don't do a lot. People live out there. It's kind of private, but I've shown updates of the RV park out there. It stays full. It is fully leased out, rented out, with people still calling. Yeah, Bradley. I remind people all the time what started, the whole Revolutionary War here in the United States. I mean, what kicked this whole great country off? The king wanting to tax us on wood and tea. 2%, 3% tax. Kicked it all off. And look where we sit today. Here in the U.S., if you make any decent living at all, above, say, $60,000, $70,000, they're going to tax you at 38% right off the top. The government's going to have their hand out to take 38% of your income just to call yourself American. Ann did a video on this a while. A lot of your taxes are figured on the citizenship that you hold. The rich people are finding new ways to hide and move their money. Less than 35 acres. Well, there ain't no ordinance around here like that, man. It's pretty much a matter of how much money do you have. We were very lucky. Nothing. What are you doing? You gonna check on Isabella? Uh-oh. Let's see here. We got rabbit check going on over here. Yeah, we got a rabbit in the backyard. Looks like the rabbit is okay. Oh, she all good? Rabbit checks out. She gotta have agua, huh? H2O. Oh yeah, 43. Well, on top of that 38, then you get, a lot of states have state income tax, and of course everybody's got sales tax. So by all said and done, I think Ann's ran the numbers on it before. They got their hand out for like 60% between your capital gains tax and all that stuff. It's just crazy. It's crazy they got their hand out for that much money. It's extortion, and we pay, and then sit back and watch what they spend that money on. Oh yeah, they taxing the hell out of you, Bradley. Oh yeah, Jason. Tax, 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 man. I mean, you're blackballed and listed because you disagree with what's going on. I mean, it is crazy. What's going on, Mr. Hollis? Hell no, war ain't cheap. It's very profitable. Oh, well, I'm sure y'all got it down there too, Bradley. They just call it by a different name or something. And I could be a little wrong on this, but basically how it works is your farm has been in your family for 100 years, and dad dies off, and the farm is worth $500,000. Well, you're only allotted to inherit so much before they consider the rest of that income. And maybe it's whatever, $200,000. So you're taxed on the other $300,000 value of the farm. And if your kids can't pay that tax, well, guess what? I don't know. It may be a percentage. I wasn't lucky enough that my parents had anything. So yeah, inheritance tax. That's basically it. My parents didn't have anything, so I wasn't passed on anything. I mean, even gifts. I've kind of given 5 acres basically to my son, where my cabin is, and I think the government only allows you like $15,000 or $16,000 that you can personally gift to someone else before it becomes income tax. So if you give them a property worth $50,000 or $100,000, well, 16,000 of that they can write off no tax, but the other 84,000 they're going to get taxed on it. Yeah, gift tax. They're taxing us to death, man. I mean, it's crazy. What can you do about it? Yeah, dig a hole on the farm. Exactly. I told everybody I know, send me out Viking style, man. Put a big pile of wood out there, ashes to ashes. The cheapest way possible. I don't expect anybody to do anything about it or for much to happen, man. Again, they've got the masses trained. They're not worried about us older folks. I mean, really, anybody that's 40 or over. Life and technology and the way things operate has changed so much. We're the last few generations that remember what that little bit of freedom was. Younger generations, they're already, you know, I won't say brainwashed to make them sound so bad, but they're already used to the system. Everything that us older folks see as control and what's happening, that's normal to them now. All of the digital, electronic, CBD, you know, whatever all of that is, the younger generations are used to it. They don't carry around cash. They don't pay for things in cash. There's not a whole lot of cash floating around. People just don't use it anymore. It's too easy to pay off of that phone or credit card or plastic or email. It ain't gonna matter too much to me, I guess, how I'm buried. I won't be here anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh man, a stroll down the YouTube's vertical live stream. Woo, my goodness. The world is a crazy, crazy place, man. It's only gonna get crazier. The abnormal has become normal. Stories come and go, boy, with all this Iran stuff. The old Epstein, he went away. I ain't heard nothing about Russia. I heard this morning when I got on, their gas companies over there, their refineries over there were taking a hell of a beating. Which I'm really surprised, which tells me a lot of it's probably propaganda and lies. There's no telling what's going on. But, it really surprises me that Russia hasn't hit back harder. Of course, the whole Ukraine deal is just a proxy war with the U.S., basically. Riverway, take it easy, man. That's probably the only reason why they haven't gone full bore on their ass. But who knows, all of the rumors about we're running in and out of ammo. What's going on, Magabus? We're running out of ammo. We're running out of ammunition. We're running out of missiles. Yes, no, maybe. Who knows? Propaganda. I know we don't make that stuff quick. And I know we made a shit ton of it during the Cold War. Well, I think we can all probably agree that the face of war has changed a lot in the last, 5 or 6 years since the Ukraine deal has started. That has brought a whole new realm to war. Yeah, they're still fighting in trenches over there and they're still dropping bombs, but dropping bombs just don't get it done anymore. Look at what they've dropped on Iran so far in the last 4 or 5 weeks. 10,000 targets that they're telling us about. Some of the things I've been seeing dropped over there are like right in, populated areas. So there's collateral damage. Oh man, 3D printers. Yeah, that's all going to go hand in hand with AI and robotics, man. They don't need a human to sit there and run that 3D printer. The whole AI robotics thing, man, is a crazy rabbit hole. That's you know it may not be as deep as some of these other conspiracy theories, but that hole is getting a lot deeper really quick, day by day. And the stuff that you can get online and look at right now, that's like, what they're showing you. Trust me, the governments and militaries and black door projects got way more better stuff. And it's crazy the things that some of those robots can do now. Yeah, exactly, Jason. Yet another robot. Yeah, man. I mean, and a lot of people, they want to say, well, I'm a plumber or I'm this or that. I'm an electrician. I got a buddy that's an electrician. A robot can't do my job. Well, prime example. He works for a private company right now, makes pretty good money, but he's already determined, thinking ahead, being an electrician, if he was to get laid off with his company, that he would build the data centers. Go to work for these data centers because they're all hiring. They can't hire electricians fast enough at these data centers. If you do a little research on the data centers, much like the way the semiconductor industry is now, it is mostly done by robotics. So they're building these data centers so that they can be serviced and maintained by robotics. The buildings that are being built nowadays are being built in such a fashion and form, the plumbing and electrical and things like that can be done by a robot. Oh yeah, totally, Mac. It's amazing what the capability of robots is already, and the masses just they don't see it, they're unaware of it, not interested in it, blah blah blah, whatever. And yet that is the future. I mean, you want to think Terminator's badass? They got stuff out there far better than Terminator. And the ability to couple AI with that robotics, again, what you're able to, the research you're able to do, and what information you're able to find about AI, it's on many degrees, it's already far smarter than humans. I think that is a big problem that they have ran into now with AI is that it learned from humans, which are, you know, not the best role models. We lie, we steal, we cheat, we kill, greedy, you know, manipulative. We are building the most, the smartest technology that we've ever built, and we're giving it all of the bad traits that we have as humans. I don't know how it all works, Jason, man. I don't use it, but I watch a guy on YouTube that he does some pretty crazy, wild stuff with it, man. Just talking to it, asking it questions, asking it to do things, asking, what I don't know what they call it, where it, what do they call it, where he had a name for it, where it's you get it to role play or whatever, and it will actually, subvert its safety features. Jailbreak, I think, is what they call it. AI jailbreak. Because apparently the programmers, whoever, the geniuses that put all that stuff together, you've been stuck in that hole sometimes. I ain't played with it, man, so I don't know, but that guy gets into some pretty deep conversation. What's going on, Pilgrim? He gets into some pretty deep conversation with that thing. And he uses several different ones, so he pits them against each other. I guess one of them is his AI girlfriend, and one of them is his AI best friend, whatever. And he uses several of these AIs and pits them against each other, and it's freaking crazy the stuff they come up with, man. The things that they do and the things that that they'll be able to do. right? It's crazy, man, to think about what the future holds. I mean, just look how far we've come. Just in our lifetime, guys. I mean, you ain't even got to take the last 100 years into consideration. Just look at the last 50. And now that technology is multiplying daily. I fully believe they're already using AI to make a lot of these worldly decisions. And it could very easily be driving the whole world to World War III or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the last 25, man. That gets all off into the rabbit hole of what are they hiding from us. The aliens, the UFOs, the energy, the ancient technologies. Which hole do you want to run off into? How long we've been here? Which story are you going to believe? It is crazy. They've done a damn good job, man, pitting us against each other. They've done a damn good job. Yeah. And the thing is, Bradley, is it's so easy, man. I mean, the world we live in and use is so fragile. It's amazing how fragile it is. And, a lot of that has just changed in the last 100 years. I mean, yeah, we were always kind of a globalist society, but back in the day when it took 6 months for a ship to get across the Atlantic, the global trade and stuff wasn't what it used to be. It is so twisted and crazy and compuzzled and compounded now, and that's just on the smallest, simplest little thing. And when you look at the importation of insects, just from planes and vessels transporting food around the world. Not only here, I just use the US as an example. I mean, 30, 40 years ago, we had the fire ant imported from South America on a load of vegetables. And now the fire ants here in the United States are a multi-billion-dollar, you know, drain on everything. And that's just the smallest little thing has the most profound effect on everything. And you look at all the crap going on, shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, shutting down the other strait over there. I mean, removing 20 or 30% of the global supply of whatever it may be, fuel or food or fertilizer or anything, in a perfect operating world like it was 10, 15, 25 years ago, we couldn't feed everybody on the planet. There are people starving today. There was people starving 20 years ago. With all of the greatest modern technology and farming equipment and first world countries and over a mass amount of food that we have, we still can't feed everybody on this planet. And now some elected official governments are going to throw a freaking wrench in the whole machine and shut down 20 or 30% of that global traffic and energy consumption. Deb, thanks for stopping by. That monkey wrench has already thrown a mass problem into it. People were already broke, no money, teetering on the edge, and that's here in America where things are supposed to be good. Yeah, Bradley. You too, man. Take it easy. Stay safe out there. When they throw all of this mess in on top of that fire, people are struggling here in the U.S., man. Shit, imagine how people are struggling around the rest of the world. Americans can't imagine that. Yeah, that ain't gonna help nothing either, Jason. I mean, screw the EPA, raise them limits, put more ethanol in there. You know, them engines were made for that. Oh man, I don't even know that they know a true, honest answer of the debt that America owes. The debt that's owed to America, the debt of the world. Numbers have been pushed so far, the money has stretched so far. I guess it's history repeats all over again. I mean, they did the same thing in the old days when they used silver and gold coins. You know, the coins got shaved and they got thinner and thinner and thinner and smaller and smaller and smaller. Easy times. Who knows what's going on, man? I was overloaded with videos this morning. And you click on one, updated news source, propaganda, preparedness type video, and everything in your feed from then on is all of these YouTubers got all of these inside tracks, people on the ground. My guy I know that's in the military told me this, told me that. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. We're attacking one day, we're not attacking one day, we're on one day, we're off one day, we're negotiating a day, we're on and off negotiating in the same day. We're talking to officials, we're not talking to officials. Trade is up, trade is down, stock market's up, dollar's good. It is so much crap. Way too much for anybody to keep up with because rent's due, you still got to buy groceries, the electric bills due. Don't forget your insurance. Freaking crazy. I don't know how y'all guys living in the city do it, man. It drives me nuts to be here. Like Joe said this morning, it's pitiful. You got to look at everybody around you as a threat. I'm gonna have to get some coffee. Let me see if the dishes are back over here yet. Give you all a view of the koi pond while I get my cup of coffee. I'll be back. Hold down the fort. Green thumb. There ain't no snow, man. What are you talking about? Give me just a second. Did the coys come up? Oh yeah. Well, the sun is not so bad over here, so I guess we can watch the koi pie for a minute. Oh, it's about lunchtime, so I ain't gonna be able to hang out too much longer. Me and the girls are gonna have to go get some lunch. What's going on in y'all's neck of the woods? Green Tom still in here? Man, I've been enjoying your garden. Koi for me. I've been feeding the hell out of them, so they're probably full. Pond looks a lot better. The yard is starting to come along. It's not so cold in Houston anymore. Stuff's starting to bloom out pretty good. Pretty quiet day in the neighborhood today, actually. But what's going on out there in La La Land? Any new news? Any exciting things happening in anybody's life? Oh, there they go. Curry here must not be too strong. They don't get the smell of that food very quick. You say big money? Green Thumb, what's up, man? So I ain't seen no outside pictures of your place, so I assume it's still white as a ghost up there. I seen one of them pictures the other day. I don't know if it was, again, real or fake, but apparently one of the pictures posted by one of the crew members on the space station, and it was a picture of North America, and it didn't look like there was any snow in Canada or North America. So his little picture kind of told on him, I think. I don't know if it's still up. I forget which one it was. Again, how much of that shit can you believe or not believe? About the only thing I do believe on that whole trip is that $30 million shitter quit working. That's about like the government spend $30 million on a fucking toilet that won't even work. That didn't surprise me at all. If I could pick a place like this, weather like this all day long, that'd be nice. I would have liked to have had a little colder for a little longer. I think it's probably going to be a bad year for the bugs. I've yet to see anything drastic in the garden, but what little bit I've been out and around in the brush, I've already had a couple of ticks, so I know they're going to be bad. I ain't heard nothing about no boxes of ticks, but I got plenty of freaking ticks out in the woods, man. It does not take long to get a tick around here for sure. I mean, at the farm, hell, this is the city here, and everybody in town spraying pesticides, so you're lucky to see any bugs at all around here. But at the farm, you can get a damn tick walking down to the chicken pen. That's what I keep my chickens for. Them are tick killers. Oh, yeah, well, I got a bit of a hawk problem in Illinois, so they don't venture too far from the pen. They've been getting up closer to the house, but man, they can't fight off that whole 25 acres. There's too many other wild critters roaming in and out. So I'm keeping the deer ran out of the orchard. Chickens are spending a lot of time over in the orchard, so that's probably what they're doing. Oh man, the only way this day be any better is if we was in the. Oh yeah, man, it's planted. I still got to put in some onions and potatoes. I just got my potato seedlings all cut up, set out for a few days, so they skinning over, but they'll be ready to put in this weekend. I hope to get it done. I go back to the farm tomorrow, so yeah, onion sets. See if your paint's dried. Yeah, everything's pretty much in green thumb. I got a little bit to do, but I've changed the setup this year where I can get my tractor tiller down through the rows. And that don't surprise me, green thumb. You know, helping people they don't want to make that worth your while. Not on the old tubes. That's why I don't post anything anymore, man. I mean, hell, not that monetization makes a difference, but they got you jumping through all these hoops and loops and bumps and this and that, and the third plot. Well, man, if shit ever goes sideways, bro, you know you got a place down here because you the gardenest some bitch I ever seen. Your plots always look good. I envy your gardening skills. It looks like y'all got some good dirt up there. Wherever it is that you're gardening from, man, y'all got some good looking dirt. And that makes a big difference when you're running a big garden because it's hard to get a big space. Good garden dirt. I'm surprised I'm able to grow anything out here, man. I ain't the best gardener, and I'm sitting on top of an iron mountain, literally. I have hauled in tons and tons and tons and tons of dirt and mulch and compost, and it's been a heck of a chore. And I still can't grow a lot of things, man. I just have the hardest time with some things. Carrots and corn. You always seem to do pretty good on most of the stuff you grow. Hell, all of the stuff you grow. As in all. Yep. It is iron or clay. Well, they look very happy. I think the money and time spent gardening and learning to garden and learning the things that you can and can't grow in your area is really going to start to pay off this year. There's a whole lot that goes into that whole gardening situation. And I cheated a lot this year buying a bunch of my plants from the nursery. I got too much stuff to do out there, man. Just for one person to try and take care of it all, it's too much. That's why I changed up the garden this year. What's going on, Bonnie? I changed it up this year and spread everything out to where I could get my tractor and tiller down between the rows because I couldn't keep the rows hosed. The last few years, the weeds and grass just take over in there. So we spread it out a little this year. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, no doubt. It's all gonna come back around to that. I think Jason is gonna be crazy, man. And whatever money and time you spend on your gardening, it's gonna be worth it. When you're going to the store and paying $1 for a tomato or $1 for an orange, or that's a big one, Bonnie. That's everything. The gardening, the farm, the chickens, the goats, the whatever it is that you're going to try and raise. That's what we was talking about earlier, man. You know, it's a full time job out there trying to raise your own food stuff. And it does get harder as you get older. I guarantee you, I can't do half of what I used to do. And to actually have to do it to survive is going to be a whole different ball game and strategy. People aren't accustomed to doing that work. People don't have the knowledge of doing that work, the wherewithal to withstand when something goes wrong. But again, you get down that rabbit hole just 100 years ago of how much people depended on themselves and their neighbors and their community. Chickens are one of those few assets that are, and it's getting harder and harder now, you know, to get chickens that will actually sit and hatch their own eggs. I don't. It is a very good breed to have, the Breesy. They're good for meat and eggs, but I have no Breesy chickens that will sit and hatch their own eggs. And that becomes an issue if survival becomes the thing and egg production because you're going to have to hatch them. Which again, goes back to the system. You need an incubator. Not many people know the old ways of hatching and what it takes to do so. That process, each and every little thing. The gardening is its own, encyclopedia of knowledge. Raising chickens is its own encyclopedia of knowledge. Goats, cows, whatever it may be. So much knowledge that people used to have. 100 years ago, people had to have that knowledge. They lived off of it. You're right. It was already headed that direction, Jason, before 1913. The plans had already been thought about and conceived and, you know, issues and problems worked out so that when it went into effect in 1913, that's just when it took effect. They were working on it long before that. I quit researching the Rothschilds at around 1500s. So for the last 500 years, that family has been involved in it. And there are a few other families, with that big name that goes back, five, 600, 1,000 years that their families have been controlling and manipulating. Yeah, go down that 500-year Rothschild rabbit hole. Yeah, it's like Jennifer said, they're lower level. There are other entities and forces. Oak wood for manure. That shouldn't be too hard of a trade. Them rabbit holes go deep, Jennifer. You get off in them rabbit holes, and you become a conspiracy theorist and shunned by YouTube and the truthers and it's amazing. Oh, yeah, it goes way back. And that whole process is continuing. Because over these last 100 years, things have changed. Other families have come into the mix. Other, powerful people and people have died off, and things are changing and evolving. And what I've told everybody the whole time, there's Sure, there are going to be people that will stand up against the system, but look at the examples that have been made out of those people. Go back 25 or 30 years. Look at what happened to the people in Waco. And you can believe any story that the media and hype, and there really wasn't even too much internet back around then, but you know, whatever they pushed that this guy was doing, okay, they're gonna make you the villain. You want to go something newer? Ruby Ridge. Y'all want to talk about the Bundys? There have been plenty of chances where society could have stood up and said no. They make examples. Thanks for coming by, Jason. They make examples out of everybody. You're not going to stand up against that machine today. Every nail standing up gets the hammer. You stand up against that machine today, they'll take care of you, whatever. You're going to be the villain. You're going to be the domestic terrorist. You're going to be the, crazy right wing supremacist. They take you out. They shut you up. They shut you down. Blah 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 blah. They're into everything. They know. The system they have in place today tells them everything that they need to know about you. You volunteered all of that information. That's the society that we live in today. You don't operate without a cell phone. You don't operate without a computer. You may like to think, it may make you feel warm and fuzzy that you're trying to be anonymous, but you're not. Stand up against that system and see what happens. It ain't a matter of anybody standing up. They're not going to change the system. We are the ones that are going to change. You're either going to change and move along with that system, or that system is going to eat you up and shoot you out. That simple. That's the herd mentality, the masses of people. You are going to have to move along with that herd. You don't understand how nature works. When you hang on the outside of the herd, or you get away from the herd, okay, the things that happen to you are not good. So the masses move in a herd. Break that down into voting numbers if you want. I mean, there was only 160 or 70 million votes cast that they tell us about, which is about half of the population of the U.S. So only half of all of the people are voting. And those half that are voting are pretty much split right down the middle, 50-50. For as long as you can remember, since you were an adult, the voting has always been close. Oh, well, he got 52%, and he got 48%. There's only two choices, so they're hovering right around that 55 to 45% mark for your selection. So if half don't vote, and the other half is split down the middle, that means 25% are controlling the other 75%. It ain't hard to fool 25%. The old saying goes. It's easier to fool the sheep than to explain to the sheep that they've been fooled. People that we so-called elected that run everything, that are in control of all of our lives, and we see the things that they're doing. I've asked the same thing many times, Bonnie. I don't see it. I mean, property value by the bottom, by the bottom, by the dip. What is the bottom? I mean, home prices going up, home prices going down, the whole market. The thing is you got to have somebody willing to buy it. mentioned it earlier. Me and Ann were thinking about buying another a 5 acre piece of land that might come available here, not too far from our ranch. We've owned it before, and I sold it to a friend. What are we gonna do with it? I mean, you buy it for a certain dollar figure, and you add what percentage on it to sell it again. It's a 5 acre tract. It's going to need a water well drilled on it. You know, it's $20,000. It needs a septic on it. That's $10,000. You want to build a house on it. Now taxes go up on it. How much you going to spend on that house? When you have someone come in and build it, you go buy a pre-manufactured home, tiny home, and put on it. That's $100,000. I mean, so just for structure basic minimum, you're into it for 150,000 to put a structure on it. Now you got the cost of the land at $150,000. You're into your investment $250,000, and now you got to put it on the market to sell it. What's a good profit margin ratio today? And the bad thing about a sawmill is it's labor intensive, Jennifer. Very labor intensive. Buying land, buying timber off of land is not cheap. Who are you going to sell that wood to? Again, what kind of profit margin do you want? You gonna try and make 20% off of something, 10% off of something? Is 10% worth your time, effort? Especially with the prices going up, mortgage rates going up. What are you gonna invest in? Infrastructure on your place, really? I would agree. I tried to put in all that infrastructure that I could. But again, looking for investment. What the stock market up, down, it's a gamble. I played in that trading bit a little bit, and it's all rigged. Yeah, you can make money at it. It takes a big risk in money to make money. To make enough money off of that stock market, you need 100,000 to be able to play with. Let's play with. In and out today, short trades, day trades, investment trades, whatever you want to do. It takes money to make money. Yeah, as long as I guess you're making money somehow, whether it's retirement or job or whatever, you take that money and invest it in yourself and your property to pass it on to kids. We were talking about that earlier. That even becomes an issue with death tax. Are your kids going to be able to afford to take over that place or even want that place? More infrastructure is more work, more time consumed, more energy, more expense. And that's a problem I see with the ranch right now. I don't get to spend all of my time there. What time that I'm there, I mean, when the garden's ready to pick, the garden's ready to pick. I forgot to walk by last week and pick the asparagus. So when I walk by it this week, it's 4 foot tall already. I don't know if they have or not, Bonnie. I wouldn't assume that they stopped any tax. Once they got their hand in your pocket, it's hard to get that hand out. know they're still doing that gift tax. I was talking about that earlier because trying to want to give some property to your kids or something. You can only gift like $15,000 or $16,000, and then everything over that's taxed. There's no telling whatever it is. We're probably going to comply with it. That's just the thing. Everybody has to comply. We're already in that system. I was talking about a while ago. We're already there. You want to buy a piece of property? You're in their system. They want to know everything. You want to buy and sell on the stock market? They're into everything. I was just, dealing with Mac the other day. Bought some silver from Mac, and to get his Cash App or whatever set up. They want the facial recognition on you. Give your fingerprint, give your DNA, give blood sample, give your firstborn. To send $50 over your Cash App. They want all that information digitally. And that's where that gift thing would come in, Jennifer. You're only allotted to give so much, and to transfer that property over into their name on the title, you got $100,000 piece of property, you only give them 15,000. So anything over that, yeah, well, there you go, all digital. We use all that stuff for the RV park, the Cash App, and the Zelle, and the Apple Pay, and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's convenience. It's all that digital. More and more control. Boop, you can't get it anymore. Push of a button. Yeah, I think that's where that all comes in, being part of a trust and all that kind of stuff. Again, it's about the knowledge of being able to evade that tax system. We shouldn't have to live in that kind of society where we have to do that. You work your whole life and build up your little castle or whatever you want to call it, and you want to pass that on to your kids. There shouldn't be any tax at all involved in that. That's just not the world we live in, man. It's just not truly freedom. Freedom is an illusion. Sugar Shack. That's a lot. As old as that is, the technology, people have been gathering that for hundreds of years. How much of that process now is actually modern? Use any propane or use campfire or, is that process automated at all now? Are you using bottling technology, sealing technology, labeling technology? I do the same thing with honey, and pretty much the only updated technology I use are the mason jars. I guess I could get some clay pots or something to keep my honey in, but we all use so much technology and convenience and everyday, what most people, I guess, call off grid living. Hey, Mickey. Yeah, it looks a lot better. You came right in at the end of it. I gotta go in there and cook lunch for the girls. It's crazy times. Everything's changing so fast. Imagine to think about what the next few years hold. Wow. Hold on tight and buckle up. We may have to get on there this afternoon and stroll around through all of the news and see what's going on. Maybe do it live tonight. The girls got to go to karate. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. I gotta get out today and mingle around. Hard to hear me. I don't know what the problem is. Yeah, Bonnie, the water situation's only gonna get worse and worse. It's been a dry year already, even though we did get a little rain here in the last few days. Man, it has been dry. Again, all the technology and everything ain't gonna help. We can live through it day by day. Sound is good on your end. Turn your phone up, Wendy. Oh man, I gotta get off of here. I might get back on here in a little while, guys. I gotta go cook lunch. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy. It's beautiful in my part of the country, so y'all take care out there and stay safe. I might get on here tonight, so I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for stopping by.